Okay, so you guys are all familiar with the fidget spinners. They're super popular. I did a whole video on them recently about what I think they're good for, but a lot of people find them to be too disruptive or too distracting, especially teachers, parents, and people like that. So today I'm going to do a video that's showing you five different alternatives to fidget spinners that are less disruptive. So the first one here is called Tangle Junior. Now, Tangles, there's a lot of different types of them. This is just one brand in particular, but they're sort of plastic beads that are linked together into a tangle shape. And you can undo the tangle, you can redo the tangle, you could fold it up into like a coil shape, uncoil it, and they're actually really, really satisfying to use. And the good thing about them is they're not very loud. They make a little bit of a clicking noise, the same way you would if you were just, tapping two pieces of plastic together, but it's not the kind of thing that makes a big spectacle or anything like that. And it's something that you could do, out in the open with both of your hands, as I'm doing here, or you could use one hand and just play with it in one hand as well. There are a lot of different colors and different sort of types of textures that you can get for these tangles. This is just one pack that I got in particular, and it came with three different tangles. This one, like I said, is called the Tangle Junior, and it was $8.82, so $8.82 US, and it came with three. So it has these two, blue, red, yellow ones, and then it also came with one that had a little bit more of a transparent color to it. Okay, now that I found my focus here, you can see the close-up of the beads, the texture. They're just little plastic pieces, very smooth. I think you can buy them that have a more rubbery texture on them. There you can see the title of them, tanglecreations.com, I believe, is where you would find those. I just got these on Amazon. They came 2-day shipping from Amazon Prime. And here's the other one that I was talking about. This one has a more of a transparent bead there with some little air bubbles inside. So whatever you're into, you can choose from a variety of different colors. But this is one that I really like. I really find this satisfying. It is a little bit bigger than, say, like a fidget spinner or some of the other fidgets that I'll show you. And it's not the most low-key one. It is obvious, what you're doing with it, but I like them quite a bit. So the next thing I'm going to show you here are a very, very classic type of fidget toy. These are basically little mesh pods that have a marble inside. These are ones that have been used for years and years and years, both for, helping somebody focus with ADHD or something like that, but also for people with sensory integration issues, such as people with autism or other developmental disorders. There are a million different brands of these out on the market. This one is called Vantasii, Vantasii, and it just came in a pack of, let's see, how many was it? 10 of them. And it had, 2 blue, 2 green, 2 pink, 2 purple, 2 yellow. So you get a nice pack of those, and that's less than $8. That was $7.49 on Amazon Prime. So pretty good deal for these ones. They're very, very simple. Like I said, they're just like a mesh sort of material with the marble inside, you can see there. And they are pretty durable too. I thought they might be pretty cheap, but I beat it up a little bit, went a little hard, pushing, pulling, messing with it, and I haven't broken one yet. I'm sure I will, but they're pretty durable. So you can, kind of just push along and slide the bead or the marble from side to side, or you can push and pull and squeeze the mesh itself. You can twist it, you could turn it, you could fold it. So there's a lot of different sorts of things you could do with it. For me, the most satisfying thing is basically just to squeeze the marble from one side of the mesh to the other, but use it however makes sense for you. So this is an interesting one. I haven't seen this until I did my research for this video, but this is a little fidget that just has 2 sort of key rings on it, some metal pieces, and then just some rubber sort of O-rings. And they call it a Flippy Chain rather. So there's a Flippy Chain, and then I'm going to show you a roller chain in just a moment. But this one's really fun to use. It's really tiny, as you can see, compared to my wedding ring size. It's basically just like a little keychain size thing. You could even put it on your keychain if you wanted to. And this is a really good one for one-handed use. Basically, the only action you can do with it is just flipping it, like you see there, flipping it back and forth. But you can also kind of twist and turn it in your hands. You can feel the rubber O-rings on there. And it's just a really nice, occupying sensory experience. I really enjoy playing with this one. This is the kind of thing that I would use like when I'm on a phone call in my left hand, when I have the phone in my right, or something like that. And it's not too loud. You get a little bit of clicking from the metal, but really not too much, as I'm kind of just flipping through it carefully. That's making almost no sound at all. And when you're a little more haphazard with it, it's really not too disruptive. And as you can see here, there are some replacement O-rings. So if you'd like to change the color of those, you can do so. I'm not exactly sure how you take it on and off. I think you just do it like a normal keychain. You would take the entire thing off, put the O-rings on, then put it back. But I'm sure the instructions were in there. I probably just threw them away. Now, this is the roller chain. So this came in a pack with the Flippy Chain for $10. So you get both the roller chain and the Flippy Chain. And I believe they have both the same O-rings, the colors O-rings that you see there. And you can replace them on either one. This one is pretty straightforward. It's just a chain, so a metal chain with those rollers there. And it's basically like, you might think of like little rollerblade wheels. So you can do a lot of different things with it. You can kind of just squish it around into different shapes. You can roll it around your index finger or whatever finger you want to. Obviously, depending on the size of your finger, you can, see how far it goes. It is pretty small. It is much, much smaller in diameter than like a fidget spinner or something like that. But I like that. You can keep it in your pocket and it doesn't take up a lot of space. And you can easily palm it in your hand and no one would really know that it's there. So it's basically only a little bit bigger than a ring you might wear in your finger. As you can see the close-up there, basically it has just little interlocking metal pieces that make that chain. And the action is pretty smooth and fluid. It hardly makes any noise at all. And I think that it's very satisfying to use. So the last one we're going to show here is an old school one, and that would be Silly Putty. So you guys have probably seen all those slimes that people have now on YouTube and Instagram. This is basically the OG version of that. So this is the old school slime. And it's a kind of a dense sort of clay putty thing. It doesn't come off in your hands, but it is very stretchy. It'll bounce if you throw it at something. And you can twist it, pull it, pick at it. You can do whatever you want to at this. This is a type of, fidget toy, if you want to make it that sort of thing, that I think is really, really versatile. And this in particular, I think is really good for people with anxiety, because when you have anxiety, a lot of times you have an inclination to pick at yourself, be that your skin, your cuticles, tearing up paper, doing something with your hands. And this is great because you can really manhandle it and it doesn't make any noise. You can tear it apart, you can poke it with your fingernail, you can just like rip pieces off, you can twist it, you could bend it, you could squish it. So it's just a really satisfying thing to use. You could also set it on the table and push it in and it'll stay there, and then you can kind of pick at it with your finger. That's something that I've seen a lot of people do in schools, just have a little glob of it on the table and they could idly pick with it while they're listening to a lecture or working on something else. And it's great for that reason. It's really durable and you could do really whatever you want to with it. It also gives you sort of that tactile feedback of not quite being skin, but having like, it doesn't just give away to you when you poke at it or when you rip at it. It gives you a little bit of feedback. It gives you a little bit of resistance. So it's satisfying to use, and you can actually like tire your hand out if you squish it for too long. If you're doing one hand and just squishing it and pulling it, it's kind of a workout. So it's really useful, and it's super cheap too. It's like $4.46. So less than $5 for that. And you can get a ton of mileage out of it. So that is it for the alternative fidgets, things that are not a spinner or a cube. Just in review, I had the Silly Putty, the Tangle Junior, the mesh marble thingy, the roller chain, and the Flippy Chain. So if you want to look at any of those are in the description. Amazon links. Those do give me a small commission, but nothing much. So check them out if you're interested, and let me know if you have any favorite fidgets that were not mentioned in the video.